Hey there, ink fans. This is Brian Goulet of the Goulet Pen Company and inknouveau.com. Today I want to share with you the 5 new Diamine colors that just came in. Today is September 21st of 2011, and I just got in the 5 new colors of Diamine, and I want to show you a little bit of what they're all about. I haven't inked them up in a pen yet because I literally got them about 24 hours ago, but I want to at least share with you what the colors are and show you kind of what they're close to, so you can at least get a general feel for what these inks are like in terms of their color. So let's check them out. Here we are scoping out the brand new Diamine colors that just came into the US. The 5 colors that we have here are Diamine Eclipse, Denim, Macassar, Meadow, and Wild Strawberry. So I'm going to take these one at a time. I'm going to show you what are some other comparisons to other inks that are already out there so that you can kind of get an idea, because I know sometimes videos and pictures are not so accurate, but at least I can show you kind of in swab form what these are going to be similar to. Okay, so we'll start out with Eclipse. Eclipse is a very dark purple, has a lot of gray to it, very saturated in color. You're not going to get a lot of shading with this ink, but it is going to be really dark and a kind of a bold purple. Okay, first thing to compare it to is Kung De Chang. This is a permanent ink, so it's a little bit different in terms of its properties. Similar kind of purple, but it has less gray to it than Eclipse does. And the purple color is a little lighter, not quite as saturated. So if you're looking for something darker than Kung De Chang, Eclipse might be your ticket. Private Reserve Ebony Purple. That's another one that might be a contender for a similar color. The Ebony Purple has a lot more pink to it than Eclipse does, though. Eclipse is more of a dusty purple. So that's something to consider there. But the next one I have is Diamine Damson. Now, Damson is fairly close. Diamine tends to come out with inks that are relatively close in color to each other. This one is really not too much of an exception, but it's different enough, I think, to justify being its own ink. Damson is really more of like a Poussière de Lune type of purple, just kind of a not incredibly saturated. Eclipse is much darker and much more saturated than Damson, but it's along the same vein. It's a similar hue of purple. And then lastly, I have Noodler's Purple Wampum, which is probably what I would consider to be the closest of all the existing ink colors to what Diamine Eclipse is. Now, Eclipse is still a little bit darker and not quite as pink as Purple Wampum is, but it's fairly close. Okay, so the next one that I want to show you is Denim. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit here for you. Denim. Really nice, dark, pure blue. Doesn't really have any green to it. Doesn't really have any yellow to it. It's a pretty solid dark blue. Okay, so one of the closest colors I have is actually Noodler's Bad Belted Kingfisher. Now, Bad Belted Kingfisher has some completely different properties than Denim. Bad Belted Kingfisher is a bulletproof, laser-proof ink, so it's got a little wild. It's a little wild in its properties there, and because of some of those properties, you're going to get a little more feathering with this ink than you will with the Denim. So if you're a fan of the color of Bad Belted Kingfisher, but the permanence is not so important to you, I would definitely take a look at Denim. Same thing with Bad Blue Heron. Bad Blue Heron and Bad Belted Kingfisher are very similar in their properties. Denim is a little bit darker blue. Heron has just a little bit lighter tone to it, so in a little more teal color than the Denim does. So that's something to consider. Noodler's Midnight Blue is actually really, really close to Denim. Has a lot more teal to it than Denim does. Denim is a little more, I don't want to say purple, it's because it's really not very purple. Compared to Midnight Blue, it seems more purple because it's got less green, but it's very, very similar. If you really like Midnight Blue, but you want to try a Diamine, then Denim might be the color for you. And then Diamine Midnight, I always like to try to compare one brand within itself if they have similar colors. Midnight is not as dark as Denim is. So if you always liked Midnight, maybe liked the hue, but wanted something a little darker and more saturated, Denim might be your ticket. Okay, next color we've got is Macassar. Now, Macassar, I'm assuming, I have no official word on this, but I'm assuming they named it after like Macassar Ebony, which is a very dark type of wood with brown and black striations. So I kind of figured it would be a dark brown, and I was right. It's kind of a dark brown. Not quite as dark as maybe what I was thinking, but we'll compare it to some colors here. Diamine Saddle Brown, very, very close to that. Just a little darker, a little more saturated than Saddle Brown. Okay, but if you like Saddle Brown, you'll probably like Macassar as well. I was thinking Macassar would end up like a chocolate brown, or maybe even a little bit darker, but it's lighter than chocolate brown. It's not going to be quite as Hershey brown as chocolate brown is. The another one outside of the Diamine family I have is Noodler's Brown. Noodler's Brown is probably closer to the chocolate brown and does a little more intensive shading, I think, than Macassar will. Still a nice color though, but Macassar is just a little bit lighter, lesser saturated. The one that's closest to it, I think, of any ink I've found is the Caran d'Ache Grand Canyon. Now, the cool thing about comparing these two is that Grand Canyon is significantly more expensive than Diamine. So if you really like Grand Canyon and you want a similar color, Macassar, I think, will be your ticket for a replacement for that more expensive Grand Canyon. Okay, and then after that, I've got Meadow. And really, I looked around. The closest thing I could find, which is very, very close, is Kelly Green in the same Diamine family. Now, Kelly Green is a little brighter, a little more vibrant. Diamine Meadow is it's a little more grassy and has kind of a heavier yellow tone to it. But in the video, you can even hardly tell that there's a difference at all. The differences are very subtle, and there's something that really kind of need to be seen in person. But if Kelly Green was just a little bit too bright for you and you're looking for something more like a fresh cut grass type look, Meadow might be their better ticket for you. And last but not least, in the new family of Diamine, I have the Wild Strawberry. Now, Wild Strawberry is a red color. It's pretty bright, pretty well saturated. Poppy Red is pretty darn close to Wild Strawberry. Wild Strawberry is just a little bit darker, but very, very close, very similar in hue. Private Reserve Dakota Red is a little bit redder, not quite as much yellow, not quite as much pink as Wild Strawberry, but very, very similar. And then Diamine Vermilion as well is somewhat similar. Wild Strawberry is a little bit darker and more saturated than Vermilion is, but it'll be a fairly close match for you. So hopefully this was helpful for you. All of the different Diamine colors are really interesting, and let me try and pull them all back out for you again here. I'm really liking these colors. I gotta admit, I like them more than I thought I would, more than I saw on the swabs. Some of the swabs that I saw of these initially were not all that impressive to me, but seeing them in person, I can actually really see myself using some of these inks in my pens, particularly Denim and Eclipse. Those are the ones that jump out to me the most. But oh, let me zoom out. Macassar is pretty good, but I like chocolate brown. Meadow, I think, is going to be okay. It's really close to Kelly Green. And Wild Strawberry, not the kind of color I would use regularly, but might be good around Christmas time or something for Christmas cards. Who knows? So hopefully this is good for you to see all these 5 colors, and I'm eager to see what everybody starts to think once they get these up into their pens.
I hope you like my tour of the new Diamine colors. If you have any questions, you can always email me at brian@gouletpens.com. Thanks a lot, and right on.